Okay, so we have volume of prisms. Ms. Mara already recorded this whole thing, and it didn't record the whole thing, so I'm redoing it, but you don't know that. But now you do. Okay, so volume of prisms. We have V equals BH. Remember the thing we did where we shade the base? Okay, shade the base. And then we highlight the height. Okay. And then also remember that B equals the area of the base. So that means like on a rectangular prism, the base is a rectangle. So B would equal B times H. Okay, and then on a triangular prism, the base is a triangle. You have to shade the triangles. Okay, it can't be like that part. It has to be the triangles on a triangular prism. Rectangular prism has to be a rectangle. Okay, also make sure you do not forget the 1/2 if the base is a triangle. So, remember how we take V equals area of the base times the height. We go to the side and we solve for the triangle, or if our base was a rectangle, you go over here and solve for a rectangle. So for area of a triangle, if our base was a triangle, we'd have 1/2. We can do this one. It is, let's see, 6 and 3. Okay, so we would do 6 times 3. Okay, notice that I use 6 and 3 and not 11 for the height. Okay, of the base, because 11 is the height of the prism. And then same thing over here. So we would have A equals 4 times 6. And then solve. Do not forget the 1/2. If for some reason you are solving for a triangular prism, I guarantee you the answer for that rectangular prism is still there because it wouldn't have included the 1/2. So you've got to make sure if the base is a triangle, you include that 1/2 because the answer, if you forgot the 1/2, would be there. Okay, so watch out for that. Next, we have the height of the prism. So that's where we highlighted here. And remember how we identify the height of the prism? It's what connects the two bases. So like this line right here is connecting my two bases. Same thing here. Here's my two bases. It's this line right here. The line connecting the bases. Remember there's a difference between the height of the base and the height of the prism. So you've got to be able to tell the difference there. So, if we go over to how to solve, remember, write the prism formula. That is found on your formula chart right here. Okay, V equals BH, and we'll look at the pyramid formula in just a second. But make sure you are using V equals BH because I also bet that they will have an answer where you have used the pyramid formula when you should have been using the prism formula. Okay, so you write it out just like I did right here. Then identify the shape of the base. We did that. We said this one was a triangle, this one was a rectangle, so we used the appropriate formulas. And then substitute in and solve. So if we were to do this, I can take half of 6 here. That's 3 times 3, and that's 9. And then 4 times 6 is 24. Next, substitute B, the area of the base, which is what we found here and here. And you plug that back in to the formula where the B is. So that would be 24. And this one over here was 9. Okay? And then you also substitute in the height. So for our rectangular prism, the height is 5. And then for our triangular prism, it was 11. Okay? And then you just simply solve it. So that's 99. 24 times 5. 120. Okay, and that would be centimeters. Oh wait, that one is, yeah, centimeters actually cubed, and this one as well was centimeters cubed. Okay, all right, moving on. Next one is we have volume of pyramids. The difference here is that we now have the 1/3, but we still do the same steps in shading the base. So remember the base on a pyramid is just that bottom part that lays down. Like if you were to set the object down, it would be the one on the surface of like a table or something. Okay, and then again we highlight the height. The height of a pyramid can sometimes be hard to identify. It's the one that goes from the top to the bottom. Okay, so from the vertex to the base. Be sure that you don't confuse like the slant of the pyramid for the height, because sometimes they will give you that as a measurement and you don't need it. So again, we have B equals area of the base. On a rectangular pyramid, the base is the rectangle right here. Okay, so there we would have B equals BH. Then same thing on a triangular pyramid, the base is a triangle, so that's why we shaded the triangle. Again, don't forget, for a triangle, it's B equals 1/2 base times height. Don't forget the half, because I guarantee you, like if you were solving for this, they would have the same answer as if you had solved like the base was a rectangle and you would have forgotten the 1/2. So watch out for something like that as well again. So if we were, oh yeah, and then the height of the pyramid, remember we highlight the height. How to identify that? Again, it connects the vertex. So remember the vertex is right here. Okay, vertex. Vertex. It goes to the base down here. So that's why I highlighted those two. Okay, so how we solve, it's really similar to the prism. But now we are going to be using V equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. Let's say we're doing this one right here, our rectangular prism. So my base now for the rectangle is A equals base times height. A equals, my base is 8/7. Okay, and that's 56. Yeah. Okay, and then again you substitute it back in, so I'd have 1/3 times 56 times the height of this one is 6. Okay, and then if we were doing the triangle, we have V equals 1/3 area of the base times the height. But this time my base is a triangle. Right here, triangle. Okay, so my formula should be 1/2 base times height. And I would have A equals 1/2. My base right here is 8 and 6. And we know that the 6 is because there's actually a little right angle right there. And remember, the base and height have to be perpendicular to each other. So I would have 6 and 8. I could take half of 6. That would be 3 times 8, which would be 24. Okay, and then again, 1/3, plug in 24 here, and then the height of that pyramid is 10. Okay, so remember, now we have to deal with the 1/3. Okay, so we've, again, let's go to our steps. We've substituted B, the area of the base, and the height of the prism. Next, we have to start solving, but don't forget, by multiplying by 1/3 is the same as dividing by 3. Just like in our triangle formula, how multiplying by 1/2 is the same thing as dividing by 2, multiplying by 1/3 is the same thing as dividing by 3. So if you can, like it says here, if you can divide by 3, see if you can divide the number by 3 evenly first. Okay, so luckily in this one I can take I can take 1/3 of 6, which is 2, and I can do 56 times 2. I can actually take 1/3 of 24, which is 8 times 10. Okay, but if I couldn't take 1/3 of one of these numbers, let's say I had 1/3 times 16 times 2. I can't take 1/3 of 16 or 2, so I would do 16 times 2 first, which is 32, divided by 3 instead of trying to divide one of those. Divide by 3 at the end so you get an accurate answer. Okay, and then lastly, solve all the way through. So I would do 56 times 2, 8 times 10. That one's 80. 56 times 2, 12, 10, 11, 112. And then lastly, again, units cubed. So we had inches cubed, and this one was, what? Oh yeah, inches again, inches cubed. And that's it.